Let's give people a few more minutes to turn up. I've got Amandine lurking next to me. Actually, let's not wait. Eric, you're out there?
I am indeed. Good afternoon, everyone. So on the backend side, last week we released another Synapse 1.94 release candidate. Quite a light release, but one of the changes there is changing the way media is served so that we actually allow that quote-unquote safe media to be rendered inline in the browser. This is particularly helpful for bridged users, where bridges tend to just copy through the link to the media repo. So hopefully that should fix some of the issues people are having on bridges. Otherwise, basically just a lot of small performance improvements and bug fixes and documentation and the like. And yeah, otherwise more of the same next week.
Cool. Any questions of Eric? No. Okay. Who is talking peer-to-peer stuff?
Hello, it's me.
Hi, Keegan.
So last week we were doing some experimental work with crypto IDs, particularly gluing up to the Rust SDK, so it kind of just works in Element X, which has been fun. It's still very, very early, and we're not fully signing all the events client side at the moment, but the kind of proof of concept is kind of taking shape, as well as a little bit of silencing maintenance work. This week, there's some more experimenting with crypto IDs and a bit of change with some complement API changes. These are some wanted quality of life improvements which haven't been done for a year. So I'm actually going and doing that now. And other than that, we have some people out on holidays this week.
Cool. Exciting to be at the point of trying account portability with actual Element X. Congrats. Right, Specland. Andrew, you out there?
Hello. Yeah, in Specland, there was a lot of discussion around MSC 2702 this week. That is about specifying semantics for content disposition on media, some back and forth on how exactly this should work. But it's been going on for the week and it looks like it's coming towards a point of conclusion now, but we'll see where that goes. Otherwise, just an update. Sometimes we find at the spec PR stage that some small things get missed in review of the MSC, so we're going to solve this for the checklist and stick this as part of the PR template. Just be a big old list that the SCT will go through when they check off your MSC, but obviously it's also public, so MSC authors can also check themselves against the list before they declare it as ready for review. So hopefully that'll fix some of the small issues, and maybe over time we'll automate some of them as well as part of CI.
Which, thanks, Andrew. And then Florian.
Yeah, in the Voidland, we shipped last Friday the next minor release of Element Call, which fixes copy and paste from the URL bar, which now includes also the password. And we will have a series of work on the audio front-end side. And the first thing we already released is that we switch the audio input device to the OS level default device changes if you change your device. But there's a lot of work in the go on that area as well, which leads me to the challenge here, which is also that we have the mute state then in sync with the actual mute state. That seems very simple, but it turned out that getting all those state in sync is more complicated than anticipated. Stay tuned, we're working on that. On the Element Call side in general, we are also catching up a bit with some tech debt from the last releases, and we are continuing our end-to-end encryption mode for embedded mode, so where Element Call is running as a widget within the Messenger application. That's it.
Thanks, Florian. I'm not sure whether it's still on the radar, but the lack of Spotlight mode on mobile is really, really, really painful still. So I would make a passionate plea to be able to zoom video or use Spotlight when I'm doing literally what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, so basically it's scoped, but it just needs to be implemented. So it's part of the UX designs which we have, and it just takes time.
Okay, cool. If it's just bandwidth rather than causality, then I'm happy. Nobody talking rich text editor. We don't have Johnny or David out there. Okay, then Andy, tell us about Element Web.
Hello. Yeah, we've been having a lot of trouble this week, the last few weeks, with flaking tests, and the new tests around stuck notifications are one of the big contributors to that. It turns out the actual behavior of the application is pretty flaky, and that's why the tests are flaking. So you could see this as a good thing because we're heading in towards figuring out some of those bugs through that. But yeah, getting that stable so that we can develop smoothly is still underway. We're also working on redesigning the right panel, and that's close to being merged. That's a sort of less disruptive, but a visual change to the right panel. We've also finished helping out the mass team and getting back onto implementing RIDC in Element Web, so that will be coming soon. And we have finished the migration to a different translation system called Localazy, which should help us share translations eventually with Element X and generally be a little bit nicer. But people who want to contribute to translation should come into the translations room and ask to be added so that we can add you and add the right language for you.
Cool. Thanks, Andy. Any questions for Element Web? Nope. Okay, Benoit, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we have released Element Android last week. It contains a few bug fixes, especially around the account management if you are logged in with SSO and RIDC, and also there is a fix about Jitsi, not able to log in if there is a password configuration. And we have also fixed a bug related to infinite ringing call, but it will be in the next release. Yeah, it didn't make it for this one. And regarding Element X, we have done a release. The release is live. We had some trouble with a special permission on the Play Store, but it's now fixed. And yeah, in a nutshell, we have started to work on key backup and also on unlocking the phone using PIN code or biometrics. Yeah, that's it. For the rest, it's classic bug fixes and small improvements.
So the drama with Google approvals is over for now?
Yes. Cool. Finger crossed. You won't appear again.
Yeah. Okay, and then who is talking iOS? If anyone.
Talking about Element X iOS.
Yeah, hi Mara.
So yeah, this week was pretty intense. We did a lot of mention work. It did a lot of progress. Now you can see user mentions. All mentions will also have a different color. We also have the @room mention that is implemented, and they're of course all tappable, and we bring you to the user detail. Of course, all of these are still hidden behind a feature flag on Enable Nightly. Then we also made some progress implementing user suggestion completion, so that when you start typing the user ID or the user display name, you will see a suggestion. And tapping on it will pretty much also add the link inside RT, but that RT link is not yet rendered as a mention pill, so that's what we're currently working on. Then playback for voice messages has been implemented, and also we had a recent contribution from a not so anonymous user that implemented the /me command for to support emotes. And yeah, and we also upgraded the RT package since there were some adjustments and bug fixes in it to improve the overall stability of the RT and its functionalities. Also, work for key backups and key recovery has started, and polls are officially finished and in the final release, not anymore behind any feature flag. Other important thing is that we finally found a way to bump up our code coverage by a lot by doing some testing of the screens. So now we have reached a code coverage in our unit tests of above 70%, which is pretty good. And we did also various bug fixes and stability improvements, especially also with the Element Call integration. And tomorrow there will be a new release candidate.
Awesome. Any questions on Element X? And I'd like to say huge thanks to whoever implemented /me, because it will transform their entire life. Okay, moving on then. Who is next?
Hi, it's me and QA Land.
Hello, Doug.
Hi. So actually, maybe I should come and talk to the iOS team, because I was going to say not much has changed in terms of code coverage recently. So maybe there's an error in the stats somewhere. So we'll have a look at that. But other than that, it's been a week of testing Element X. So location sharing, file sharing, polls, offline mode, and push notifications have been a bunch of stuff we looked at the last week. Next week, first login flows, so when you open the app for the first time, rich text editor, and getting Element Core in there. So lots of testing happening in the world of Element X.
Awesome. Thank you. Then what is happening on the Rust side?
Yeah, a bunch of things, smaller releases. Well, the Zemats got a release, Rumor got a release. The refactor of the crypto crate is slowly going on. We helped some things around the Element WebR project. They had some panic because of our usage of DashMap, which is a concurrent hash map, but obviously it doesn't seem to work on WASM. And we have a PR for initial support for backups. I really like the PR number there, 2666. I hope the PR isn't cursed because of that, but let's see. And we have a PR for WASM modules extensions modifying the timeline interactively. Something cool that's happening. Ivan is working on it. It's supposed to offer some customization via WASM modules for the SDK, so you don't have to completely recompile your SDK to modify its behavior with regards of the timeline. And yeah, that's about it this week.
So what's the use case for using WASM to modify the timeline? Is that for Element X on mobile, or in general, or Fractal, or where's it come from?
Element X on mobile. I cannot confirm nor deny the feature, and our customer that requested it.
Okay, right, we'll find out somehow. Thanks, Damir. Hoshin on hiatus encryption. Valère?
Oh yes, so mainly we are working on getting Element WebR onto develop. So we found a couple of blocking issues, some Damir talked about. So you can follow the Element R blocker tag label on GitHub to see where we are at. So we are still continuing rushing through that. Discovering new issues, fixing them, and when it's done, it will be live. Of course, continuing the work on MLS and backup.
Godspeed. Good luck. Halfshot says nothing exciting this week, and we're sitting outside. Don't know if he's on the call. Then Compton, tell us about IDC.
In last week, I finally landed translation support on the backend side of the auth service. It's only for the server-side generated template. There's still work to do to have the My Account React frontend to be translatable. For now, I only did like manual translations of with the French local that you can see. I'm not a translator, but just to test it.
Edition on Baguette.
Yeah, exactly, the Baguette edition. And it's done through Localazy, like other Element projects. And one thing I'm particularly proud of is that there's like automatic key extractions out of the templates by working through the template AST, and it also like puts the file name and line of each key in the translation context automatically. So that's nice. We also finally merged the first version of the Syn2Mass migration tool to migrate an existing Synapse home server. It's still definitely not usable for production. We still need to test a bunch of things, document a bunch of things, but you can maybe try it out. Coming out this week, a lot of random small things. Essentially, we want to cut a new release and have like proper release notes this time. And I'm also looking at making issue triage better and put it at the same level as other matrix.org projects, basically. And that's about it.
Awesome. So for running Syntamas or however you pronounce it, on matrix.org, which I assume will be the first server we test against probably later today or tomorrow, how would you handle all of the single sign-on social login stuff that it has? Will the migrator be able to know what to do if you've got users on 5 different existing backends?
Yeah, so you can provide it a mapping between the OIDC providers that Synapse knows and the ones that Mass knows, and it will import the external ID mapping basically. So as long as, like for now, we're importing them one-to-one. So as long as Synapse and Mass are using the same external ID source, it's fine. We'll look into like mapping them on the fly through the migration if we really need to, but that actually kind of works. We did that for element.io, and yeah, it works.
Very, very cool. Can't wait to see it actually run against matrix.org. No rush, no pressure. Then finally, because it seems that Josh is Josh out this week still, or not around?
Today is a bank holiday in the US.
Is it? Oh, lucky bastards. Okay, in which case, Thibaut.
Yes, hello. So last week, not a lot of things that are public, unfortunately. Basically, the Matrix tutorial on getting a lab you can use to torture Synapse. Currently, if you want to do some weird experiments with Docker Compose, you need then to wipe the server, and it can be a bit tedious to get a Synapse back online because you need to regenerate a configuration file, a signing key, etc. So I have created a little Ansible playbook that basically gives you a single button to press to set up a Synapse server you can then torture. I have requested both a stand and a dev room for FOSDEM, so fingers crossed. Some foundation internals and something I forgot to write. Somebody has requested that we change the doc because it was a bit scary with legacy and red warnings about documentation being deprecated. So this is solved. It's much less scary right now.
Yay, thank you. Sorry for being a pain about it, but it's one of these minor things which it has disproportionate impact.
Indeed, it was necessary. Coming up this week, a Matrix Live if somebody is up for it, or
pick me. I'll do one.
Okay, you can do one then.
Look how happy she is.
All right, and more foundation internals. It can sound a bit obscure, but it's mostly about giving more transparency for the foundation, so getting clear programs where the money is going, what the foundation is actually doing, and why.
Cool. Any more for any more? Oh, let's finish 10 minutes early then. Good luck, everyone. Bye.